It's been 4 years since the USA Lawyer TV series aired its last episode, but people are still watching it on Netflix. What makes this lawyer show special? Let's take a closer look. Most lawyer shows, like the one with Perry Mason, focus on a lawyer who uses unique methods to uncover the truth in a short time. Remember Perry Mason's opponent, Hamilton Burger? His name sounds like hamburger, but this show doesn't hide fast food names and character names. Instead, it's about a confident lawyer named Harvey Specter. He becomes a top lawyer at a firm that usually hires from Harvard. But in a twist, they hire Mike Ross, who is really smart and remembers things perfectly. Mike passed the bar exam as a result of a bet. He catches Harvey's attention because he avoided getting caught with marijuana he was delivering for a friend. It's like a dream to be plucked from the streets and become successful. So, going further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out my other review contents. In most legal shows, there's a lot of complicated language. Suits isn't exactly like that. It's not just about solving a new case every week. It's about the relationships among the people working at the law firm. Even though the characters use a lot of difficult words, Mike, as an outsider, asks questions that help the audience understand. But there's more to the show than just the words they use. The interactions between the characters are interesting. Mike, who's new to this world, teams up with Harvey, who is really good at talking. This creates lively conversations. There's also Louis Litt, who's a bit slippery, the hard-working paralegal and researcher, Donna Paulson, and the firm's leader, Jessica Pearson. All of them are smart, and always trying to outsmart each other, which leads to entertaining conversations that stay interesting throughout the show. It's not only the conversations that make the characters enjoyable. While the show starts with Mike and his unique approach to law without going to school, Harvey Specter becomes the standout character. He's a mix of a rogue and a hero. As the seasons go on, he changes because of the people around him. Other characters, like Louis Litt and Rachel, have their own stories that add depth to the show. Rachel's journey and her relationship with Mike make her more than just a romantic interest. And then there's Donna and Harvey's romantic tension. All of these characters make the show great. You might not have known much about Suits or its actors before, but you've probably heard of Meghan Markle. She played Rachel Zane on the show. In real life, she became the Duchess of Sussex when she married Prince Harry and joined the British royal family. Just like Grace Kelly, who became a Princess of Monaco after being a Hollywood star, the mix of royalty and Hollywood has always been a fascination for gossip magazines and royal fans. Harry and Meghan created even bigger headlines when they decided to leave their royal roles in England and start a new kind of royal life in California. Harry stepped down from his royal duties along with his wife, and they chose their own path. It's easier to do when you're a former royal power couple. If you missed the show that made Meghan Markle famous the first time around but got caught up in her royal drama, you now have the chance to watch it on Netflix and understand what the fuss was all about. Nowadays, TV shows often tell a single story throughout a season or series, which is called serialized television. This is different from traditional episodic TV where each episode has its own separate story. Some shows fall under the category of procedural, where they focus on the step-by-step processes of a profession. For example, shows like Law and Order or CSI follow a new mystery every week and how the characters solve it. Unlike these shows, Suits is a lawyer series that's not procedural. Instead, it focuses on the office politics and personal lives of the lawyers. However, since they are lawyers, they still solve cases. This mix of elements is what makes the show interesting to watch season after season. You get the clever legal strategies and court cases along with the romance. In terms of romance, the show starts with the growing relationship between Mike and Rachel, leading to a satisfying yes. There's a longer, more complicated journey between Harvey and Donna, as they date other people before finally coming together. What's special is that all these characters are competent and exceptional at what they do. While romance has its ups and downs, their exceptional qualities shine through. Back in 1994, a big comic book fan and horse jockey from New Jersey made a black and white movie about the lives of clerks and how unhappy they are. What made this film unique, along with its writer and director, was the dialogue filled with references to pop culture. Filmmaker Kevin Smith was showing his own life's connection to pop culture. Before, characters in TV and movies rarely talked about other shows or films. But in reality, we often talk about pop culture, referencing movies and TV in our conversations. Suits does this well by using these references to build the story and develop the characters, showing us what they like and what's important to them. It's a real pity that somewhere in the world, there might have been a hopeful writer or a few of them who had a well-crafted initial episode for a show called High and Taylor's, which is similar to Suits. They probably had to change the name, though. Names can be tricky, especially when they're from foreign languages. If you didn't catch the show that originally made Meghan Markle famous but got interested in her royal drama, you now have the chance to watch it on Netflix and find out what all the excitement was about. These days, serialized television is really popular. It means that the show follows a single story throughout a season or series. This is different from the usual episodic TV, where each episode has its own separate story and changes among characters happen slowly. One kind of episodic TV is the procedural. As the name suggests, it focuses on the step-by-step processes of a profession. Shows like Law and Order or CSI, along with their spin-offs, are driven by a new mystery every week and how the characters solve it. But unlike these shows, Suits is a lawyer series that's not procedural. Instead, it's about the politics and personal lives of the lawyers. However, they're still lawyers, so they solve cases. This mix of elements makes the show interesting to watch season after season. You get the clever legal strategies and court cases along with the romance. When it comes to romance, the show starts with Mike and Rachel's growing romance, which leads to a satisfying yes. Harvey and Donna, on the other hand, take a longer and more complicated path, dating other people before finally getting together. What's great is that all these characters are skilled and outstanding at what they do. Even though romance has its challenges, their exceptional qualities shine through. Back in 1994, a passionate comic book fan and registered jockey from New Jersey created a black and white film about the lives of clerks and how unhappy they are. What made this film stand out, as well as its writer and director, was the dialogue filled with references to pop culture. Filmmaker Kevin Smith was showing his own life's connection to pop culture. Before, characters in TV and movies rarely talked about other shows or films. But in reality, we often talk about pop culture, referencing movies and TV in our conversations. Suits does this well by using these references to develop the story and the characters, showing us their interests and what matters to them. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more contents like this.